ladies, gents, and all other friends. Welcome to another Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am one of your players for today. I am Gail, and I am joined by the lovely...
Hello. I'm here too. I'm RJ.
This is RJ. RJ is awesome. We love RJ.
Do we?
I do. You doubt me?
No.
Good. Anyway... here with me today is RJ, who I love, to do a fun little FPS. We are doing yet another flashback FPS, because I dare say, why not? And yeah, this is going to be yet another flashback FPS setting up for the rework of Eat Your Heart Out. See also the A Matter of Taste FPS. This is in a similar vein. So that's information for you. Anyway, let's get started. So, RJ.
Yes.
How is Jay doing?
He's doing alright. He's doing pretty good.
Doing alright? Yeah?
Yeah.
What's he been up to lately?
Well, he has been traveling, you could say. He's been looking for someone. 'Cause he heard from the newspaper, that one Gil T. Treble, has been framed for murder. So he's kind of like, that doesn't sound at all like the Gil that I knew. I'm gonna go see what the fuck is going on. So he's been kind of traveling around trying to track down this stupid devil tune.
As one does. Alright. How often would you say Jay travels by train?
Relatively often. There was a little bit of a fiasco at one point a few months ago with a particular train that he accidentally got on. But it's fine. He got a steak out of it. It's all good.
For those unaware, this is a reference to the game The Ember Express. Very fun Halloween special. Tune in, it's a great time. Anyhow. Alright, so. Jay, you have gotten on a train. Again.
Yep.
This one is not a spooky, scary nightmare train, thank goodness. But it is a train. And given who you're looking for and where those newspapers were probably coming from, you were probably hoping it would take you as far as Toontown.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it does not. It makes a stop fair ways outside of Toontown, actually. In a kind of remote, out of the way town, sort of hanging on the edge of the uncanny valley.
Mhm.
Because your train pulls to its final stop in the town of Wits End.
Mhm.
Has Jay heard of Wits End?
That's a very good question. What do you want me to roll for that?
Ah. Well, your boy's a paladin, right?
Yeah.
Does he have religion proficiency, or is that not a thing paladins get? I forget.
I don't believe that paladins by default get it. They can take it. But he does in fact have religion, as proficiency, so I can roll that for you.
Okay, so you can either roll religion or history.
We'll go with religion because I don't have history. That's a natural 20. That's suspicious. That's a very good roll to start with.
Oh boy, one nat 20. All right. Yeah, so Wits End, from a religious perspective, is relatively decently known. Um, it is a religious town. Uh,
Mm.
for a more niche religion than usually spring up entire towns around them. This is a town where the local religion is very geared towards worship of the narrative, as evidenced by the fact that the entire town is built up around its central feature, the Bookend Theater, which is simultaneously a theater and a temple, and is quite famous. And it is often said that people come to Wits End when they're not sure where to go next.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay.
So,
Okay.
hands you all
All
that.
right. Yeah, that would have him feeling some kind of way. Interesting. He's a little bit hesitant to get off, but figures he's probably here for a reason. So, you know, because elsewise he would have actually gotten on a train that takes him all the way to Toontown. So
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna hop off and start looking around.
Yeah. All right. So you hop off the train station. You hop off the train at the train station in Wits End. Do me a favor. Roll me Percepi.
Persepi? Okay.
One whole Percepi, please.
One whole Persepi. Oh, God. Well, I blew all my luck on the first roll. That's a 10.
That's it. I mean, hey, it's average, right? A 10 is average on a scale of 20.
Well, no, I rolled a 4 on the dice, plus 6.
Okay, so your average would be 16, so that is still below average, but
Yep.
still, I can give you something with a 10. I think part of why you might be struggling with the perception is because it's surprisingly a fair bit brighter here than you might necessarily expect, especially given you're in an indoor space. Everything has this very, like, slightly washed out pastel aesthetic to it. With, I think the main thing you'd notice is that there is a repeated motif within, like, the decor and the architecture of carvings of hands and eyes.
Okay. Hands and eyes. Got it.
And the other thing you'd notice is that in amidst this very, like, pastel Victorian type looking place, very, like, were it not for the hand and eye motifs in the architecture, you could probably see this as, like, a place where you could have a tea party in terms of its aesthetics.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But because of how it looks, the one person who seems to be working here kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
Uh-huh.
Because sort of, leaning on a desk near kind of the exit, with a, like, sign over the desk that says tickets and tours. Or actually it would say, like, the big sign would say new arrivals, and then underneath would say tickets and tours.
Okay.
But standing underneath that sign, kind of leaning on the desk with, like, his head propped up on, one arm while the other is just kind of folded in front of him, is a... You're not sure if he's a tuner or real kind, but there is a young man with very dark, very curly hair, and pretty heavy shadows around his eyes. dressed in sort of a bright red button-down that's got the sleeves folded up, and a black apron.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of glances up as the train pulls in, and he spots you, and he doesn't seem to know how to react. He kind of looks at you a little bit surprised.
You work here, or am I looking for someone else?
Uh, yeah, hi, I work here. Shiloh Scripturian, welcome to Wits End. Sorry, we weren't expecting anyone new today. Hi.
Wasn't aware I had to call ahead. Sorry about that. I didn't really mean to end up here, but
Well, no
Jay,
one does.
That bodes well. All right. The name's Jay.
Pleased to-
Shiloh. Yeah, you said?
Yeah, Shiloh. Pleased to meet you, Jay. What, well, you said you didn't mean to come here, but, you must be here for a reason. So, what brings you to town? Just traveling? Passing through?
Traveling, sure. I'm looking for something, I think, so.
Isn't everybody? What kind of something are you looking for? We've got a couple shops around town that might be able to help you pinpoint, whatever it is you might need.
Not that kind of something. It's fine. Probably not here, but I've never been here before, so y'all, am I allowed to take a look around, or?
Yeah, sure. As local tour guide, I am, I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to offer my services. So if you'd like, I can show you around the place.
I don't want to trouble you if you're already busy.
Do I look busy? He kind of gestures at the train station, which is absolutely dead. As soon as the train pulled away, it just went completely silent in here.
There's a kind of an easy smile on Jay's face. He just kind of raises a hand like, I didn't want to assume.
Hey, listen, I'll take any excuse to get out from behind the desk for a bit. And he kind of, hops over the desk, turns the little sign to say, out on a tour, and then walks up next to you. He's a fairly tall dude.
Jay is, at this point, used to Toons being either really tall or really short, so he's kind of just, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this guy's 6'2". He's about a head taller than you.
Oh, yeah, big time. Well, lead on, Macduff.
That actually gets, a bit of a laugh, but he also, makes a sort of warding sign over his chest. Since he got that nat 20 on the religion check, you'd know that, Macbeth references in the town that's built around the theater as its religious symbol.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of a warding gesture of just oh, careful with that. And he will go and get the door for you. And there's kind of a jingle over the door as he opens it.
Jay will step through, looking around.
Alright, want to roll me another perception? See if you get any better now that you're outside.
Please roll better. That is better. That's a 12 plus 6, 18.
Okay, 18. Yeah. So that kind of pastel color scheme does carry as you step out into the town, as do those hand and eye motifs that seem to be just kind of everywhere here. Like, a lot of the times you'll pass by, like, if you look at a building, it'll be, instead of having, a normal door frame, the door will be framed by a pair of carved hands, with, like, an eye over the door where you'd usually put, like, a porch light. There are a lot of flowers, a lot of flowering trees. The entire place, it's quirky, but cozy seeming. But there's something slightly off. Everything seems very washed out in terms of its colors. Like, it's not saturated pastels. It's very gray, which you realize comes from the sky. The sky here is incredibly overcast, even though it certainly wasn't that kind of weather when you got on the train this morning. And what really gives the town character is the people. Because as you kind of follow Shiloh, out from the train station, down sort of the quote-unquote Main Street area, you spot some of the people who live here, and they are an eclectic bunch, to be sure. There are designs here that don't look like they should physically work, and yet these people are just kind of existing.
Is this a don't look like they should physically work in a way incongruent with Toonie bullshit?
Yes. Because even with tunes, there's kind of this consistent through line of tunes are designed to move. Tunes are designed to be animated, and therefore will have, for example, certain amounts of detail in their design. Whereas everyone here, there's a lot of detail to be found. There's a lot of detail to be found in a lot of the designs here, and some of them don't look like they should be functional for motion.
Okay. Can I medicine check that?
Go ahead.
What is that? That's pretty good. That's plus 6. So 22.
22. All right. So, Jay, are you familiar with Toonkind medicine practices?
At this point, yes. He's been here long enough that yes, he's become familiar.
Okay, so your familiarity with Toonkind medicine practices would make you aware of the concept of mixed media tunes. Typically, mixed media is a very, very rare format for a tune to be in. Most tunes are either like, you're going to be clay and wire if you're claymation, you're going to be ink and paint if you are Frankenelli, or, if you're more digitally designed, you're going to be, pixels and light, that sort of thing. If you're, CGI, and you're going to be model and rig. But a lot of the people here seem to be fairly mixed media. Like, you will see someone walk by who, like, seems like they're mostly done up in, this ink and paint watercolor style, but maybe, like, the clothes they're wearing are done in, that hyper-realistic, style that you only really get from Hausen tunes, where, it's still done in the same way as real kind clothes, but it moves a little differently because it's animated instead of just existing. You'll look a little closer and something's off about their eyes. Their eyes are a little photorealistic compared to the rest of them. You pass somebody else and, their top half of their body is, relatively rubber hose, whereas the bottom half of their body is like a Frankenali centaur, right?
Mm.
It's a lot of mixed media stuff and a lot of mixing of styles in ways that don't quite click together and yet somehow manage to work.
Mm-hmm.
And Shiloh will lead you down kind of the central street leading away from the what's it called? The train station. And he says, okay, so this is Main Street. This is where we've got a lot of our local small businesses. That bakery over there has amazing bread on Tuesdays, but it is. What is today? Sunday. It is Sunday, so they instead are going to be serving, I think, pastries on Sunday mornings, which are good, I hear. I'm not a big fan of sweets, but I hear that their pastries are really good. The cafe across the way does really good coffee, not so great tea, and shockingly, really, really good lemonade.
Why is that shocking?
Because it's a cafe, you'd think it's all coffee, but their coffee is decent, but it's the lemonade that everybody buys.
All right. Well, I'll take your word for that.
He kind of smiles and says, let's see, we've got the dress shop over there, suit shop right next door. They have ongoing rivalry. Make sure you pick your side carefully.
Gotcha.
Oh, over there, we're kind of entering the plaza now. Over there, that is the library. I think it's open today. I'm not sure. That's going to be up to Andy. I don't know if he wants to run it today. But he might. So that might be open. That's probably a good place to do any kind of research you might want to do. He'll just kind of go on pointing out different spots around town. As you guys kind of walk into the main central plaza, there's, a big fountain in the middle of town that has, those same hand and eye motifs, but this time there's sort of a central symbol because, again, it's a fountain. Where you have a pair of hands holding what looks like a vial of ink, and that's what the water for the fountain is coming out of. And the ink vial is marked with an eye. And wrapped around the wrists of those two hands that are holding that vial is a set of ribbons that kind of spiral down and make the rest of the shapes of the fountain.
Hmm. He's sort of just taking this all in, not really saying a whole lot, but he's very much listening to what's being pointed out, and looking around, sort of like mentally mapping his way around the space.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got a lot of mixed media scenes. I ain't seen very many of these before.
Oh yeah, it's fairly common practice around here.
Common practice?
Yeah, you know. Well, a lot of folks aren't exactly the nicest to people who are mixed media because they find it unsettling. So when you find somewhere where it's accepted, that's where you tend to flock.
Yeah, fair. I suppose.
Mm-hmm. And we do a lot to accommodate for our mixed media castmates. So, it's one of the easier places. We've got good medical care for mixed media conditions. We've got, clothing accommodations, that sort of thing.
Town has a lot for its people in this.
Hmm?
Pretty sweet.
I didn't understand what that's it. I didn't understand what that was.
He said the town does a lot for its people then. That's pretty sweet. With a distinct, pause between that's and pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I think Shiloh does brighten a little bit at that and says, yeah, it's, we get a bit of a weird rep, but it's a nice place, really.
Shame about the weather.
You get used to it. And he kind of smiles and looks up at the, hazy sky. It's kind of always like this.
Overcast, no rain?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we get rain, but only ever at night.
Wild, alright.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, beats getting wet.
Yeah, everybody knows to be inside after dark. The rain only ever starts once the night show finishes.
Why do they gotta be inside after dark?
It's bad luck to not be, isn't it?
I mean, not necessarily, not my experience, but hey, y'all do things differently here. I'm happy to accommodate.
Well, it's kind of reaches up and fiddles with a brooch that's kind of pinned to the lapel of his shirt. And it is shaped with that same, ink vial, 2 hands wrapped in ribbon, that sort of thing, as the symbol in the fountain. And he kind of tilts his head and says, once the lights go down for the day, that's when the world needs its time to reset the stage, as it were. So you don't want to be outside while that's happening, or you'll spoil the magic. But then again, that might just be something the parents tell their kids to keep them from going out at night.
Love a good old wives' tale. There's a lot more truth in them than one might expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, things that like to cause trouble, they like the cover of darkness.
Some do, yeah. With the most annoying ones in my experience. But, back on topic of the tour.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your favorite place to go grab a bite to eat? I feel like I should treat you to something for showing me around like this.
I mean, you don't have to treat me for doing my job, but if you want my professional recommendation, he will kind of, spin on his heel a little bit and lead the way down a side street and say, not a lot of people come this way, because it's more towards the residential district, so most people kind of, stay out of the way. But right next to, there it is. Right next to Mr. Green's Grocery, there is this really nice little bistro place that has just pretty much amazing everything. Really good soups, really good sandwiches. Personally, I am a big fan of their steak sandwich and potato soup combo. It's really good, especially when it's cold out.
That does sound pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Must be some stuff from back home.
Oh yeah? Where are you from?
He grins a little bit and just goes, oh, here and there. I don't really have anywhere to call home anymore, but the open road suits me fine.
I'm sorry to hear about that. It's always important to have some place where you can call home.
Roots ain't really ever been my thing. It's more of a state of mind than anything else.
I guess. I've never really been outside of Wits End, so I guess I'm not really in any place to judge.
Well, I'll always recommend going traveling, broaden your horizons, see what else is out there, get to know some perspectives that ain't your own.
Yeah. I mean, we do encourage, our citizens and our visitors to go out and travel once they've gotten what they need from us, but I don't know, there's just always more work to be done here. I
I
like being
suppose.
I like being at home. I like helping people. I like helping take care of the theater, helping mom cover things around town, that sort of thing.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He kind of smiles and he does look a little bit sheepish about it. Just, you know, he's professionally dealing with a traveler and yet he has never traveled.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you mean by when folks get what they need from you?
Well, we help people here. And once they don't need our help anymore, it's better for them to go out and find what the world has for them.
Can you be any more specific in helping people?
Not really. Everyone needs a different kind of help, you know?
Okay. Okay, flip the question around. Um, what's the goal for the help?
Well, you get here when you're at your wits' end. We help people get back on their feet, figure out where they're going,
Mm,
who they want to
see.
be, what they want to do. We give them a place to crash for a bit, and then once they've picked up the pieces of their life and put themselves back together, we send them on their way with everyone's well wishes and a little bit of luck for good measure.
I see. Okay. Interesting. Can he can he roll insight on that answer?
What are you trying to insight?
He's trying to tell how much like words. How much of that is just regurgitating the party line, and how much of that is this is genuinely something that Shiloh wholeheartedly believes and participates in.
Okay, you can roll insight.
18. I rolled an 8 on the dice.
So, yeah, this is actually genuinely something that Shiloh believes in and is evidently very passionate about. Um, he very much seems to believe in the stated goal of the town.
Yeah, you really believe in that, don't you?
Well, yeah.
Shines in you.
Thanks. It's the reason that my mom's built the town in the first place. I'd be doing a bad job of upholding that legacy if I didn't believe it. And I've seen how it works.
Your mama built the town?
Yeah, Mama and Mom, they built the town together. Well, they built the theater first, and then the town just kind of built up around it over time.
Hmm. Has Shiloh taken Jay near the theater yet?
Um, so he would have seen it from the plaza, but they haven't gone to the theater directly. They are kind of, Jay did ask about Shiloh's favorite place to eat, so he's kind of steered them towards that little restaurant.
We go see the theater? Or is that only for people living here?
It'd be kind of a bad theater if we didn't accept guests. Of course we can go see it.
He grins a little wider at that.
Shiloh will turn around and lead the way back up that side street, back towards the plaza, and says, "Yeah, we actually get a lot of people coming in here coming through here specifically for the theater because, you know, with the whole film thing getting real big lately, a lot of acting studios? No, agencies? I think that's what they're called. I don't know. Mom's not a huge fan of film, so she doesn't. So I never really learned much about it. I prefer theater myself, but you know, a lot of those talent scouts, they'll come through here looking for interesting and unique faces. So we get a lot of people who want to be actors coming into Wits End, and they take up a job at the theater for a couple months, and, you know, pretty soon they've got their first gig.
I see.
Get a lot of folks through here from Toontown. It's kind of, you know, we're the unofficial acting school of Einquell.
Unofficial acting school of Anquilla.
Mm-hmm. Working with us doesn't guarantee you a spot with a good touring company or a good studio, but it does improve your chances significantly.
Hey, that's pretty prestigious.
Yep. As long as you've, you know, got that spark, we can help you fan it into a flame.
Nice.
And he will kind of lead the way to the theater, which is very, you know, very temple-like in its architecture. You've got kind of the front, what is it called? Pediment? Like the steps that you have to go up to get to the front building, and there's, you know, the columns that mark out the front of it.
You are asking the wrong man. Entranceway would be my guess.
Yeah, well, it's got kind of that elevated entryway, and those motifs that are kind of everywhere in town do seem very saturated here. There's a lot of carvings, and as you get towards the building, you can actually see that some of those carvings now have color. In particular, anything that has like the red ribbon line, or anything that has the ribbon lines, is done up in red. Very similar to the shade of red that Shiloh wears. And he will kind of lead you up the steps to the theater and bring you inside.
Ask a potentially foolish question.
Go right ahead.
He'll gesture at the carvings, and then he'll go, seeing these all around town. They for something in particular?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's part of where the town's weird rep comes in. That's where, those are all symbols of the narrative. The hands that move the plot along, the lines that guide us into place, the eyes that observe.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. That local religion there?
Yeah. Apparently, it's an import religion from over in Theater, but adapted for Einquell. And he kind of looks a bit uneasy. Not in the sense of, you know, because you got a decent insight roll earlier, so I'm not going to make you roll again for this. He looks uneasy, not in the sense of someone who is uncomfortable with the religion itself, but in the sense of someone who is part of that religion and isn't usually comfortable talking about it, because usually people react weird.
He can roll insight on Jay if he wants.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. His insight is kind of garbage. It's only a +6. $24 ain't bad, though.
24. Okay. Okay, interesting. So Jay doesn't seem particularly perturbed about it. Um, there is sort of a okay aspect to it. But that's more so in the sense of someone sort of in general, what's the words for this? It's sort of like recognizing in a way. Um
Mm-hmm.
this kind of like, aha, here is here it's someone else who also has a little bit of a off the wall religion, or a lesser worshipped religion.
Mm-hmm.
Game recognizes game aspect.
Amazing. Game recognizes game. I think that does, take a little bit of the tension out of Shiloh of just like, okay, the immediate reaction is not one of like, oh, okay, you're weird. It's, okay, cool, we're chill. Nice.
Yeah, if there's anyone who understands having a slightly oddball religion, it'll be me. You ain't got nothing to worry about from my end here.
Thank goodness. Listen, people hear that, the local religion is worship of the narrative, and they think that we're all part of some massive hive mind. That's not how it works.
Mm.
The narrative doesn't usurp free will, it just shapes it.
Amen to that.
Um, and as you guys walk into the building, can you roll me perception?
That's cocked. That's that's pretty good. 19 plus 6, 25.
25. Okay, that's not bad at all. So as you walk in, you do enter kind of, a very classical theater lobby. There's a stand off to the side that looks like it's usually where they sell concessions. There's nothing going on right now, so obviously that stand is empty. Um, there are murals on the walls um, of more of those hands holding onto strings, and those strings all lead to the doors into the theater. With it like looking like the strings are pulling on the doors to pull them open.
Hmm.
Um, there is two sets of stairs, on one on either side of the room, leading up to a balcony with a second floor. The second floor has three doors in it, two sets of double doors to either side at the top of either staircase, and one single door in the middle that is currently closed. The middle door has two red hands painted on either side of it to frame the door, and an eye painted on the door itself in gold. The ground floor also has two sets of double doors on either side of the room. Those all seem to be what lead into the auditorium.
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Hands you all that.
He is very much looking around, taking it all in. He's trying to see if there's like a list of what's currently being performed at the moment, as well. Um,
um, so that would have actually been on the way in, because there is, the ticket booth slash concierge that's, right at the front,
yeah.
very much, like how they do at movie theaters.
Mm.
Because movie theaters got that from stage theaters.
Yeah.
And there would have been, a list of showings and times, and at the moment it says that they're in the off season, but there is, on the second floor, there are posters on either side of the room, just kind of like on the wall, showing the different performances that have been done at Bookend Theater, with, the more recent ones closer to the doors. And it looks like the most recent showing they did was a showing of a play called The Starlight Mermaid.
Mm-hmm. What do I roll to try and see if I recognize that play?
History, I guess?
But +1 it is. What is that? Nope. That's a 3.
You do not recognize this play.
The Starlight Mermaid.
Oh, yeah, it's old fairy tale. You know the
What's
one.
it about?
It's... You've never heard it?
Fortunately not.
Huh. Most people have. It's a story about a sea fairy prince who falls in love with a human prince and makes a deal with the Starry Sea Witch to become human for a bit, to try and get the prince to fall in love with him.
How's it end?
It depends on the telling. He kind of smiles. If we're...
How do y'all end it?
Well, like I said, depends on the telling. He kind of smiles a little bit mischievously and points to one of the symbols that's above the doors, which is, of course, the tragedy comedy masks.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a night for happy endings, then the sea fairy and the prince fall in love and live happily ever after. But if it's a night for tragedy, he kind of, rolls his hand on his wrist a bit and smiles. Well, all sorts of bad things can happen. Sometimes the sea fairy fails to make good on his deal with the witch, and she takes him as her servant for the rest of his life. Sometimes the human prince falls in love with a human princess because of the sea fairy wanting to see him happy more than wanting to be with him. And as a result, the sea fairy jumps off of the cliff and disappears into sea foam out of grief.
What's your favorite ending for it?
I've never been much of one for the whole true love thing. I like that last ending. I feel like... I mean, yeah, the sea fairy dying in the end is tragic, but he dies because he knew that caring about somebody means doing what's best for them, rather than doing what's best for you in regards to them.
There's something to be said about that. I have to see the play a couple times myself before I can form a real opinion, but based off of the telling you said, I probably agree with you, to be honest. I don't think the sea fairy should just kill himself afterward. There's always more to be done, more path to be walked.
Yeah, but he didn't exactly have many places to go. Couldn't go back to the ocean, couldn't go back to the prince, because he'd just be standing there watching the person he loves be happy with someone else. He'd be miserable.
There's always the road. Move on. Wilderness horizons.
True. But then he'd be walking off the stage and we wouldn't see what happens.
Do we need to see what happens?
For it to be an ending.
necessarily. Sometimes the ends are just a new beginning. Just because you don't see the story, don't mean it don't keep going. I think that's the best ending, to be honest. When something starts new.
True. There's something to be said for that, as you said. I guess I've always thought of it as if we don't know how it ends, then the story hasn't ended. It just kind of exists in limbo, where anything could be possible, and at the same time, nothing is possible because nothing is being seen, nothing is happening.
I suppose that depends on whose perspective you're looking at it. Sure, if the sea fairy prince just walks off at the end, he's keeping on going. But for the prince and the princess, they're living happily ever after. And the sea witch, well, regardless of what ending, she's just gonna keep on keeping on. We don't get to see what goes on with her. Unless she suddenly pops up the end and dies.
Well, there's a version where she does, but we don't tend to run that one just because it's so many effects.
Yeah, I get that.
You have no idea how difficult it is to ram a boat into a woman on stage.
You're right, I don't, but it sounds hard.
It's really tricky. But it is a crowd pleaser, so every time we run that one, we do that one at least one night.
Seems pretty solid to me.
It's a good time, it's just a lot of fake blood.
Yeah, probably. I imagine y'all got some good stage hands, though. Yeah?
Oh yeah, we've got a great crew.
That's what you want.
A lot of the people who run our backstage stuff, they do it because they have a passion for it, and let me tell you, that gets you some real interesting sets.
Yeah. Passion really does bring a certain detail to do the thing.
It adds that little spark that's often missing.
Mm.
Right now we're in downtime. We're working on making costumes, building sets, practicing the varying scripts, etc., for our next show.
Mm.
This one's got, well, it's one that not many people make it out of very cleanly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Don't suppose you're familiar with Swanee Todd.
It's another history check. What's my D20 on? 9? It's a fake bell, but I couldn't tell you what happens or laugh at me.
Don't worry about it. It's a little bit more of an obscure one. Not a lot of people have much of a taste for horror.
Horror, eh? Sounds like it might be up my alley. What's it about?
Well, it's a horror, tragedy, comedy. It's kind of everything under the sun, but basically it's a revenge story.
Yeah.
Guy gets his life ruined by a local judge. Gets taken away from his wife and child so the judge can, swoop in and seduce his wife. Spends years in a prison, comes back, goes on a vengeful murder spree. Also, there's cannibalism.
Oh. Interesting. Alright. Yeah, might have to check that one out.
It's a good show. I'm excited for it. I actually get to act in this one.
Oh yeah, who you playing?
I am playing the lead.
Swanee Todd himself?
Damn right.
Hey, congrats.
Thanks. Played I've played back I've played background roles for a bit, but it's been I've been practicing, but I've always been too young to be part of main cast, but well, I'm old enough now and I care about the role and I've managed to land it.
Well, hey, it just shows. Probably deserve it.
Well, here's hoping.
Just stick around then. See, I'll put that on.
Well, we'd be happy to have you. We've got a couple places in town that are good to stay if you're planning on hanging out for a bit. And I mean, hey, if you need something to do with yourself, we can always use more hands around here.
Oh, I don't know if I'd be any good at that, but if you're willing to take on someone who'd be learning the ropes.
Always. Never hurts to teach someone a new set of skills. That's
If you're
how
willing to have me.
that's how mediums like this carry on.
I'd take you up on that offer then. Before I finding a place to toss my head at night.
Absolutely. Don't worry. We've got you covered. The dollhouse should still have rooms open. We haven't had anyone new in town for a bit, and their long stay residents don't take up all the rooms. So yeah, that is here. I can show you the way. And he will start to lead the way out of the theater.
Jay will follow along.
And yeah, he will lead Jay to a place called the Dollhouse Manor Hotel, which is a good place to post up for the night.
Cool, okay.
Apparently does free breakfast.
Hey, he's not gonna say no to free food. Cool, okay. Unless you've got anything else, then I think that's a good place to zoom out.
Yeah, I think so. That went well.
Heck yeah.
Thank you so much.
He's in town.
He is in town. We have successfully put him in a place. Your boy is in a place
Add him
now.
to the dollcast.
Add him to the what?
We've added him to the dollhouse, is what I said, because it's a really bad joke.
You're gonna have to explain that joke to me in post. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, audience. Everybody say goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye.